Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina looking to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Final. Look forward to watching tonight's game and, maybe some suffering for me as well. Hope you guys are all doing very well. Hope you guys are enjoying the postseason. Hope you guys enjoyed the basketball last night, as we do have a Game 7 in the NBA that'll take place on Saturday. Spurs and Thunder. It's a good day for the crew on PuckTime from myself and Carmine. And of course, you can get all of our plays at wt.buzz/CB for Carm or AM for me, because Carmine absolutely crushed, and I mean crushed, his 5% play on Wednesday. He did go against the Montreal Canadiens. He could not have been more spot on. And yesterday, I cashed a 5% ticket on Norway. Yes, the Norwegian hockey team, now 10-1 with World Hockey Plays at wagertalk.com. We always say it, all tickets cash the same, and that tournament's been fantastic. So, Carm, hey, if they were going to lose, I'm happy they lost, and you made money. So, look, since we last saw the audience, you and I, 2 5% winners, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. I feel bad for you guys, for you, Buster and Rob. I know you guys are huge Montreal fans. I'm not going to, if the series is to end tonight, I'm not going to take it out on you guys. The Montreal Canadiens played well. I'm not going to come up with any weird graphics or anything like that of you guys, heading to Aruba or what have you. It would be rude for me to come up with something like that for the three of you. But as you can see, Buster is leading the way there, Andrew. I'm going to tell you something. I met up with Buster yesterday. We had a great time. I had like a few hours in between doing some work and my annual physical, which went pretty well. I'm pretty excited about that. But I got to meet up with Buster. We met at the Woodbine racetrack / casino. Just grabbed a couple of hot chocolates, sat in the little seating area there. Did not gamble, believe it or not. Did not gamble. And I didn't. Buster stayed, and I think he hit a couple of jackpots. If he's watching this show, jump in the chat, Buster, and let us know how much you won. But kudos to Buster, man. He brought a bottle from Mexico. He carted it all the way up to Canada, a bottle of tequila for my wife, who loves tequila. She's not a big drinker, but he brought a bottle of tequila up. God bless the guy. Buster's salt of the earth. Real nice guy. If you haven't met him, I always give him a hard time on the show. So Buster's like, people think you hate me. I'm like, people think I hate Prez as well too, and they'll think I hate Andrew. It's just a shtick on the show, guys. We like to poke fun at each other. I do it more so than anyone else, so I will take it. As a long-suffering Buffalo fan, be it the Bills or the Sabres, Andrew, I'm allowed to every once in a while blow off some steam. Am I not?
I think so. You have a lot of energy. And I got to give you credit. That is one hell of a meme. That is one hell of a meme. I will not argue that. I can't wait to show my friends that after the show. That is hilarious. So yeah, it was so great to see Buster. And you know what's so great? And I know we got to get to the show, but it's so great because all of you guys in the chat, and we got Steven in here. How great is it to see Steven right now?
Yeah.
It's been a little while, Steven Lambert. Great to see you as well. So many people that we meet online and so many people that we meet through Wager Talk. And Carm, you and I have met a handful of times now, and we've got to hang out and have dinners. But when I went to Montreal, and so grateful and thankful for going to the game with Buster, that was only my second time ever meeting him in person. Right. And with the world we live in right now, you feel like people, right? Because you talk to them every day, you're doing shows, and it's so great that and this is where I'm going to sound like the opposite of the old man yelling at the cloud. I'm going to be the young guy yelling at the cloud. A lot of people will say, get off your phone. Social media is bad for you. Well, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't even be able to connect, as much as we do with people that don't live in our own cities. So the fact that, Buster's in Mexico, we can still like chat with him and catch up and all this good stuff. It's just fantastic. So I'm happy you guys were able to get together. And I told him I might still come up for a Jays game because for some reason right now they're doing some great seat prices on flights for me to come see you. So, I know that we'll have some fun, go to Real Sports maybe and enjoy ourselves. So, Carm, when it comes to we'll catch a game, of course.
We'll catch a game for sure. And Steven's a great guy. I let him know when I'm coming to Vegas, and he's out in Arizona, him and his beautiful wife, Sarah, and they will make the drive in sometimes and come and hang out. We'll get a cabana at Stadium Swim and just hang out. I just feel intimidated because, I invite all of these really nice people who are in very good shape and they look good in the pool, and then I look like the Michelin Man sometimes. I'm going to have to hit the treadmill. But with that said, Andrew, we got a couple things to cover because I got a very nice, or the office got a very nice email from one of our viewers, George, and he wanted to talk about shot props and the Seth Jarvis one. So we're going to get to the Montreal game in a second, but let me talk about the shots on goal. Because with the Seth Jarvis one, his total was 2.5, and he ended up with 2 shots on goal. The two shots that they counted were on the power play late in the game, 3 or 4 seconds apart. The problem is he also had a breakaway, and from the camera angle, he went to the left and he shot the puck, and Dobish made the save, but the NHL recorded it as at 11:17 of the third period, Seth Jarvis shot wide left. Here's the problem sometimes with shot props, guys, is we're at the mercy of the statistician in that. They say that if they assume a puck is going to go wide of the net, regardless of whether it hits a goalie's pad, his blocker, his glove hand, or his stick, they don't count it as a shot. It's the same way as if you hit the goalpost or a crossbar, it is not a shot. But if you hit the goalpost or the crossbar and it goes into the net, it's a shot. So it is a convoluted way, Andrew, of how they calculate these shot props, and you think you won, and then you end up losing. And George sent in a really nice message to the office, and he cashed on your props on my 5% play, but that was one of those ones where you watch it and I watched the replay of it. It's up on YouTube, and it looks like he was trying to go 5-hole off to the side, but you can't see the puck and you can't see where Dobish made the save, and only they have that view, and they ruled it no shot. And it pisses people off, Andrew.
Yeah, well,
because it's the one shot that makes the difference.
And you know what? From just a hockey perspective, Carm, I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about goalies' save percentage right now, and the save percentage years ago, the expectation for it used to be higher, and the reason why is that they were counting more as a shot. So obviously, the best goaltenders are going to have a lower save percentage now because less shots are being counted as a shot. So it's very interesting because when we're doing our show, and we mostly, we'll talk about this stuff during the regular season with our breakdowns, right? But when we talk about save percentage now, we have to keep that in mind that the odds or the statisticians, as you talked about, Carm, they're not counting everything a shot like they used to count it. So that means that save percentages are going to be different because not everything is going to be a shot. So it's a really good point to bring up. People have been talking about this a lot lately, and it can be a little bothersome because this was never a factor. But I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Because if you've got a goalie back here and the puck is going wide and they put their blocker or trapper out this far, but the puck was not going to go towards the net's direction, then I guess you don't really need to call it a shot on goal. The SOG stands for shot on goal. And if the guy put his arm out to the right and, it wasn't going to be a shot on goal, then, it's not actually a shot, I guess. But What do you think about that, the save percentage stuff? Because it's kind of interesting, right? Like, people are now saying that goalies need to be respected more because they're not counting as much stuff as a shot anymore.
Yeah, Andrew, it is. I don't play a lot of these player props. If I do, I make them part of like either the pod play or like 1% plays for clients. It's just because I don't want to call it volatility, but it is how they're calculated. We're used to sort of yes or no things. Is the puck in the net? Yes, it's in the net. It's a goal. Is it not in the net? No, it's not. You know what I mean? Those are definitive. Whether it's in or out. The shots on goal one, you're leaving it to a person's discretion on how they're going to grade it or whether they're going to count it or not. So it is frustrating when you're betting them. It's definitely frustrating from that end. But with that said, man, look at this price, Andrew. And I'm going to go to you first on this one. 248 on Carolina, plus 198 on Montreal. Total sits here at 5.5, 112 to the over, 108 to the under. And I'm going to have a stat from Ralph Michaels in a second as well too. But you look at this, and I did mention, and I told you, I expected Carolina to win Game 4, but I thought, if you're going to look at Game 5, the Canadiens play well on the road. It's just as, putting aside fandom or any biased, I've talked to some Montreal fans, and they seem to believe that the Canadiens are cooked, that they have no more legs, that they just cannot keep up at the pace that they have. And it's showing, after 2 7-game series against Tampa Bay and Buffalo, a slew of overtime games in between and in those, and they've just run out of gas. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, let's call it how it is, Carm. This team hasn't looked good since the second period of Game 1. They haven't looked good since the second period of Game 1. I mean, Jakub Dobiš has been the only player that showed up twice. And what did they give him for his birthday? Oh, well, happy birthday, Jakub, because they gave you 0 goals on your birthday. Hope you had a better cake than they had a game for you. So, look, I think that when you look at this, Carm, you have to ask yourself this question. If you're looking to bet the Montreal Canadiens in this one, do you look at the last game, a loss is a loss, or do you actually take into account how they lost? Because if you take into account how they lost, I don't know how in the world we could convince ourselves to bet the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Unless you're one of those people that see more energy out of an embarrassing loss than a close loss, then maybe you could say, all right, these guys are going to have one more game filled with pride and try and do something here. Game 5 against Tampa, the Habs win in Tampa. Game 5 against Buffalo, the Habs win in Buffalo. But Carolina is such a good team on home ice. And, when you talk to people, when they won Game 1, many people said they had to win Game 2 as well. And you can't let them go into Montreal and steal both games. And Buster and I were chatting this morning. They despite getting outplayed, Carm, you always talk about OT, anything can happen. And one of those overtimes had to turn into a win. That's it. One of those overtimes had to turn into a win. Now, from a price perspective, I'll tell you what. This plus 200 is intriguing because if you went into the last game thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to take the Habs tonight, and if they lose the next game at this game, I'm going to take them again, no matter what happens in the game. You're getting one hell of a price here. But I look at this Carolina Hurricanes team, and I look at team total over. I look at puck line. But most importantly, Carm, I like the over in this game. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a small free play for me at Wager Talk. I like the over here because, and this is one hell of a strong trend here, Carmen. And I know this is the graphic you brought up, so I'll let you read it out. But I look at it this way. You have to go out swinging and go out playing your game. It's the 12th round right now. they're pulling the Homer Simpson or the Rocky Balboa. You've been getting punched in the face for 11 straight rounds. Do you have any punches left in you? And if you do, throw them now. And I don't know if this team's going to win, because right now you've got a top line for Carolina playing well, a second line playing well, the fourth line playing well, and the third line is a shutdown line. So, Carm, your handicap was spot on for you in Game 4. The Habs needed to win one of those overtime games, and they couldn't get the job done. The big boys aren't playing well. But I think if there's one thing that Marty St. Louis is going to change, it's going to be stop playing their game and go out there and play your game again, because they're setting records in the wrong way, Carm. They're setting records in a bad way for not shooting. I think Carolina had more shots on goal in the third period than the Habs did all series pretty much so far. So I like the over 5.5 here. And I'll tell people the first period over, that trend has been so phenomenal. I mean, I gave out over a half goal for the Habs last game, and it was like 3-0 for the Canes. And so that ended up being a bad pick. But I think we see goals in this one. If the Habs go out, I think they're going to go out swinging, but I'm not sure I'm going to get there with the money line.
Yeah, no, I get it. It comes down to shots, and it's not a big metric, but you don't create the other metrics without getting shots on goal. You don't create high danger chances. You don't create scoring chances for. You don't create XG unless you're actually getting the puck to the net. It is frustrating as a fan. You're watching it, and if you're a fan of the team, or if you're on the over, you're watching and you're like, shoot the puck. You know what I mean? You can't, test Freddie Anderson, get some pucks on goal. Like, they've had 12 shots, 13 shots, and 18 shots last game, I believe. That's just not enough to win.
Yeah.
But to your point is, maybe they are gassed at this point. I get it. Carolina's a better team, but maybe they are gassed because this is about to be the Montreal Canadiens' 19th game of the NHL playoffs. And this is only the 13th game over the same period, only the 13th game for Carolina.
Yeah.
Back-to-back sweeps, 12 days off. They look completely flat in Game 1, and the Canadiens pounded them. And since that point of getting their legs back, they've been good, and they're just getting better. So I guess it's destination Vegas for them in a series with the Knights if they end it tonight. But I have to believe Montreal's going to show some spine tonight. And this is why this stat comes in. A road team that's coming off a home shutout in the playoffs, which the Montreal Canadiens are. Since 2020, there's been 14 such occasions. The over in the next game is 12-2, 85.7%. That is an unbelievable number, and I think you have to follow that stat. Even though we've seen some lower scoring games other than Game 1, this is probably one of the ones where maybe the Canadiens do get 25, 30 shots on goal. Maybe they come in and it's like, guys, we're going out with a bang. You know what I mean? We need to get some pucks on net. We'll see. Because you also have a Canes team. It's not always just that easy. You also have a Canes team that are blocking shots, that are playing well, keeping the puck to the perimeter. And if you watch it, and I was trying to explain to my friends when we were watching the game on Wednesday night, I go, watch when Montreal enters the zone, the O-zone. They're keeping them towards the boards, and the Canadiens try and beat them on the outside, and these guys are just, the defensemen are just putting their sticks out. They're just putting their sticks out and poking at that puck while not giving up. Yeah, and they're not giving up any body position. So it is become tough now. You got to find another way to get through that Carolina defense. Listen, mad respect for Marty St. Louis. And if the series ends tonight, and I'm not saying it's going to, but if the series ends tonight, if you're a Montreal fan, you can feel bad for a couple of days that you're close to making it to the Stanley Cup. But ultimately, what you should be is positive, because you have just seen the future of this team, and they are young, and they're only going to get better, and they're going to bring in some players, tweak during the off season. There's bright times ahead for the Montreal Canadiens. They're ahead of the curve, Andrew, and you know that they're ahead of the curve. Bright times ahead. This isn't just a one-off where next season they don't make the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs for years to come, and this is a good learning experience for them in the sense of they won 2 game 7s on the road. They won 2 game 7s, and they played a very good team that won the Eastern Conference this season. So kudos.
Look, I love being a fan, but there's something that goes with being a fan of one of the most popular teams, I guess, is that, excuse me, you deal with the hardcore crazy fans that just like you. There's literally some people out there right now, Carm, that are tweeting out, "Fire St. Louis," and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, and to your point, like they just had another player in the KHL that the Habs drafted win Rookie of the Year. So back-to-back players for the Habs have won the Rookie of the Year in the KHL. And guess who that is? It is a childhood best friend of Ivan Demidov. So they drafted his best friend from Russia, to go play with him, and he'll be able to come over next April. They've got Michael Hage, but anyway, Carm, I do agree. Like, we talk about Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho and just the way they're playing. And Nick Suzuki, he didn't seem too happy with the question about fatigue. And he's very polite and always very calm. Sometimes almost looks too calm. And he was pretty much like, I think we're a pretty young team. I don't think we're tired. But you know what I think they are? I think they're frustrated because Carolina is one hell of a frustrating team. Even when I watch them, it's like, man, like you said, Carm, on the power play, they're so aggressive at the point. They don't let you set up, right? And their defensemen are really tough on you. So the big guys got to step up. Look, I defended Cole Caulfield as long as I could. The guy's a young or small player. You score 51 goals. You got to find a way to get some more shots. Suzuki, last game, he had the puck for a shot and he looked for a pass turnover. When me and Buster were there, he had a wide open shot and a breakaway and he missed the net. It's not the depth players anymore. I always talk about depth on PuckTime 5 days a week, 8 months of the year. This is not about the depth anymore. The top guys have to step up. But Carm, with all that being said, let's just look really quick at, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but let's just look really quick at the numbers because I'm sure we'll talk about it next week. But I'm looking at the futures right now, and for the Conn Smythe, I don't think Frederik Andersen has really had to do that much because the Habs are barely shooting on him, right? But when you look at it, it's Mitch Marner versus Frederik Andersen, plus 250 for Andy and plus 165 for Mitch Marner. So my question to you is, would anybody besides those guys be worth a sprinkle for you when it comes to the Conn Smythe Trophy in case the series ends tonight?
Yeah, normally when we look at it, other than sort of like the Connor McDavid eras or even like Nate McKinnon and stuff, normally it's the goalie who's at the forefront of any team that wins the Stanley Cup. So you look at sort of Carter Hart, he's been thrust into this after being out of the league. We have to remember that after all that stuff that went on in the courts, and I'm glad that he got exonerated because he had nothing to do with it. And we're not going to get into it, but the videos don't lie, and the videos, they had videos, so which is why all the charges were eventually dropped or found not guilty. But Andrew, he's come in, he stepped in. He could have had a lot of white noise going on in his head, and he has just been focused and great. And then Freddie Andersen, one bad game, game one, where the team was rusty in front of him, and maybe he was a little rusty as well too. He has allowed 2 or fewer goals in every other game that he's played. You know what I mean? They've played 12 games, and in 11 of the 12 games, he's allowed 2 or fewer goals. I get it. Maybe not a lot of shots on goal, but at the end of the day, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I would probably look at the goalies. The thing with Vegas is, with the Conn Smythe is there's going to be players that split votes. Some people are going to like Marner. Some people are going to like Eichel. Some people are going to like Carter Hart. It is going to be an intriguing one if it's Carolina and Vegas and it goes 7 games. I would love for it to go at least 6 games. I'm going to say that because I will be in Vegas. And I will be able to catch game 6. Derek Stevens of Circa, if you're watching this, and I know you're not, but I'm going to send you a clip anyways. I am undefeated when watching a game at T-Mobile Arena. You're going to want to bring me anyways. But with that said, Andrew.
Yeah, you're right. And Carter Hart, I'm seeing 12-1, Carm. 12-1 for him. And I'll throw this out there. I don't know if this would ever happen, but Pavel Dorofeyev is 50-1. That guy's been scoring left and right. If we see like a 7-game series, what if he just keeps scoring? What if the guy is just an absolute machine? I know it would be hard to believe because we got Marner, Hart, and Jack Eichel are all the names before him. But Dorofeyev has been fantastic as well. So, it could be worth a sprinkle on him, but probably tough to cash a 50-1 ticket now at this point. So anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. But maybe this is the year we see a goalie do it. There are goalies that win it every handful. I think it's like every 4 or 5 years we've seen a goaltender win it. Frederik Andersen right now plus 250 and Kata Hot, as they would say in Philadelphia or Boston, 12-1 there.
Yeah. I don't want to, unless you're speculating, anyone in the chat, anyone who's watching it later, unless you're speculating, you're looking for good odds. I just can't bet the Conn Smythe right now because this series, if it's Carolina and Vegas, this series coming up is going to be a good one. It's not going to be a sweep. And there's going to be a lot of heroes along the way in the series. And you're going to try to, and now I think you're going to see those odds sort of just basically, there's going to be some volatility. You're going to see plus 165 possibly on Mitch Marner. And then a couple games in, it could very well be Freddie Andersen is now, after back-to-back shutouts, is now, minus 110 to win the, and Mitch is plus 500. It's one of those ones where I just can't bet it right now unless you're speculating and you have an opinion on how the series is going to go, and then you're going to bet it accordingly. Andrew, I'm going to go first with a pod play because I know we have a hard out today. And the pod play is this, guys. And it reflects back to that stat. I am going to go with the over 5.5 minus 112 here. I believe the Montreal Canadiens have to come with something tonight, whether they're gassed or not. If they want to extend this series, they're going to have to get some shots on goal. They're going to have to score some goals tonight. This is one of the few games that in this series where I would think we would see a lot of goals. 6 is enough to get us to win. And if the Canadiens are down, they're going to be pulling the goalie early. So with that said, over 4.5 minus 112 is your pod play.
Over 5.5. Carmine Bianco crushing it with the hockey coming off that 5% play. Also, guys, don't miss the World Cup package for Carmine, of course, at wagertalk.com. World Cup betting guide as well. And I'm going to throw this out here, guys. It's been one hell of a run. It's been one hell of a run during the World Hockey Championships. I invited you guys to join me. I mentioned 4 nations we did well, Olympics we did well, and World Juniors we did well. 10-1 on the tournament, and we're fresh off a 5% play on Thursday. We got a 5% semifinal play going on Saturday afternoon. Don't miss it, guys. That play will be loaded this afternoon, so don't miss out on that. Look at that graphic, guys. 1 loss. Canada money line and Switzerland money line yesterday. We had Norway as the big play. Canada, Sweden over. Switzerland, Norway, Finland. We're cashing tickets on all kinds of different countries. We even cashed a bet on Great Britain plus 5.5 in world hockey. So, guys, join me. WT.buzz/AM. 5% play tomorrow. We also have a great 30-day deal going right now. And I'll say one more thing as far as packages at Wager Talk. CFL's coming up. I do bet baseball during the year. You guys can grab a 90-day deal, get 3 months of all plays, all action up at Wager Talk. We'll take you all the way into the NFL season. So you're going to get any hockey, any basketball, any football, whatever it is for me. And don't miss out on the World Hockey Championship. So The results don't lie here, guys. We're talking about a great run, 10-1 here. And like I said, I like that over just like Carmine does, over 5.5. So 10-1 run, World Hockey Championships. Don't miss the 5% play going tomorrow. Before we head out, because we got to go in like 2 minutes, I'd be remiss if we did not bring this up. Rest in peace, Claude Lemieux. 1965, 2026. Carmine, an absolute tragedy. Just horrible news. Could not believe this yesterday when I read it, when I saw it floating around. Buster and I were at the game in person when he carried the torch out at the Bell Center, raised it above his shoulders, and got the crowd going. And they played videos about him and his past playing and things. And there's not much you can really say here other than I feel so sorry for, of course, all of his friends and family and loved ones and what he must have been going through. So, guys, if you are ever struggling, if you need someone to talk to, reach out. Someone will be there for you. We'll be there for you. And, it's always important to check up on your friends, be there for each other, because you never know what someone is going through. And Claude Lemieux, rest in peace, and our deepest condolences to him and the entire Lemieux family. Carmine, that's it for me, but I wanted to make sure to mention that, because very, very tragic and horrible.
It definitely is. Just because you can't see an injury doesn't mean that a person isn't suffering inside. Mental health nowadays is something that a lot of people are starting to realize exists in this world. And it's obviously a tragedy for him and his wife, his wife, his family. So may he find peace now, but may his family grieve. And it's just terrible news. But Andrew, I want to just end this on sort of a positive note. The NHL, I started off by talking about the Seth Jarvis one. The NHL.com website has now updated the Seth Jarvis shots on goal to 3 after a day in which it was at 2. So if you had bet over 2.5 and it's still graded as a loss at your book, you might want to reach out to them, because they all use NHL.com for their stats. It is graded at 3 now. It is 3 shots on goal. And George got paid his bet from DK. Guys, I'm going to end it like this. I have Champions League soccer up for tomorrow. For the last 6 years, and this will be the 7th year, I do a customer appreciation thing. You get the Champions League play, which is a 4% best bet for tomorrow at noon, and some prop plays. There's 3 of them loaded, might load a couple more, and it's only $1, less than the cost of a coffee. Head over to Wager Talk, pick up that play tomorrow at noon. That game goes. It's going to be a fun one to watch, Arsenal and PSG. And of course, World Cup around the corner. $149 for the World Cup package. One play up for tonight. It is a 4% best bet in the NHL. We'll try and keep a winning run in the playoffs going. So that's it for me. Guys, for myself and Andrew, we wish you guys the best of weekends and make some money, and we'll see you for game 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs.